Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 89 of Direwolf20's Age of Engineering series. Today we discover just how much 1.5 billion RF is. It's kind of a lot. So we're down to about 400 million RF, which is about, well, we're almost at 500 million. That would be a third of the RF required to dupe our items again. So this item dupe machine, while extremely powerful and OP, is in fairness a little bit pricey in terms of the ability to use up power. So I've pretty much, between episodes, just dropped as many high voltage solar arrays as I possibly could into the thing until we ran out of power up there. And at this point, I've got, so back in the old base, I kind of wasn't really utilizing, because I didn't really need it at the time, this nifty generator. So now, the way it works is, this guy is just going to run all the time. He's piping his power directly into the dimensional transceiver, which is sending it to my power orb. As we can see here, reactor orb, it's sending the power to the reactor, from the reactor to the orb. And then over here, we're receiving power on orb out. And that's powering the capacitor that we've got sitting here that runs our mob farm and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. And also to help out with power, I turned off the blaze spawner as we reached a max of 2048 blaze rods in there. So, power's short of... We still have plenty of power to do our day-to-day operations, but if I want to run a dupe using this thing, that's a lot of power that's needed, yeah. So that's a thing. So what I'd like to do today... is probably work a bit on making this a little bit nicer and a little bit faster. So I'd really like to try, if I can, to increase the speed at which this thing specifically runs. Now, as it relates to power, what do we got going on here? So we've totally got some power run. I want to make sure that any power lines that I run into this thing aren't gonna cause any explosions. That's ultimately my goal, is not to cause explosions. So let's get a spacesuit on and do some traveling around out there. So spacesuit on, and we want to get our angel ring on so we can fly. That's good. And we should have some CF spraying that we can do. Awesome. And some sand. That should be more than enough sand than we need so that we can CF spray this stuff pretty well. So what's the situation here? We've got this power flowing out of the MFSU into this whole line of machines here, including what? What's this thing? So that's the molecular transformer. That's feeding into our extractor. Is the extractor getting power underneath? It's not. So if we really want to get power into the extractor, what I'm thinking I might need to do is move this guy, which looks like it's just finishing up the glowstone. Nice. Are you in the middle of crafting an HV solar? Oh, you're in the middle of crafting an ultimate hybrid. Right, that's right. I requested one of those because we're going to need... a lot of things. We're going to need 8 of those to proceed with the creative power source, which we're going to want to make. That's kind of what I'm focusing on right now, is I'm working towards the creative capacitor bank, which requires a quantum solar panel, which requires 8 ultimate hybrid solar panels, right? So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is, once you finish crafting, which you just did, which is nice, and you've finished your quantum, so we should have another solar in here that just finished crafting, and I'm going to use as many of these as possible to help just get everything running. I'm going to borrow this HV solar. Do I have a magnet on me? I do. So that's good. I'm going to want to move this off grid because I don't want this cable connecting in any way, shape, or form to this machine. So what I'm going to do... Oh, you're there. Of course you're there. Of course you're there. So what do? So you've got you under you, and then we have to item conduit it out, right? So it's not the end of the world. So I could use paint sprayers to separate these lines, but that's always a little bit buggy. I really want to have its own totally separate line. Is there any other way to get power into this extractor? that's, you know, not dire wiry? The answer is not so much. So what I could do is, I'm thinking I just want to move this guy over. So let's do that. Do you have any filters or anything in you? No, you're just a simple extract. So let's do that. We're going to move you. So you're going to be these two patterns. I'm going to just stick you here with this guy on top of you with your patterns. We can do the item conduit thing. You will be insert and you will be extract always active. Cool. We can even facade it up if we want to make it look a little bit nicer. A little bit nicer. Not perfect, but not terrible. Connect a cable into this guy. You can get covered up then. I don't know what would normally go here. I assume this would be a glass component. So let's get some glass going. I think we should have some thickened glass. That's probably what I've been using. Cool. And we totally want to have you as well. In fact, you might not need to be anything. So yeah, that's probably what we would see, right? That's cool. So that works. So you just need power now, which is going to happen out the back, right? And I'm just going to run a power line here to some kind of nifty solar panel setup. And nifty might be a stretch, right? Let's look at what kind of a stretch we might want to do. That's what I get for middle clicking with an angel ring in my hotbar. Whoops. So let's do this. Can we see grid lines? Nice. So we're like nice and in the center of this area. So let's throw one HV solar on here for the time being. Boom. So you should be generating... Yes, good. For a second I had a heart attack because I'm like, remember that was being a little bit buggy that one time? Now because this is probably... Come on. Not going to be super cool, we're going to want to... if I break this, I CF sprayed that. Nice, perfect. That looks pretty good. And then you can go back to being connected, and you've got power. So just to confirm that this is working, I'm going to request a clay block. Just to make sure I didn't break anything in the process here. So that's in, it's creating clay, dirt input, output clay, and it should auto pipe out and complete the requested craft. So now no more items being crafted. Perfect. Cool. So let's take a look at iron to iridium, for example. We've got a piece of iron ore. You're going to pop in there. With just 512 EU per tick, it's kind of slow. Believe it or not, it's actually running. See? A little bit slow. But we can speed that up a little bit. So we've got as many high voltage solar arrays as we were able to come up with the power demands that this thing has. Where are we at now? We're at 6.8. So we're almost at 700 million RF. So it's not that slow to produce 1.5 billion, but it's definitely not fast. At least not yet. So let's get just basically a line of solars. That's pretty much what I'm thinking here. I might want to, because I don't really want to tap this into this line. So if I put you there, we're okay and safe. But you totally need to be there, don't you? Yeah, you do. So that's not terrible. And we could like kind of extend this a little bit. So this could be another line. Just trying to make this like semi-efficient. And this machine, as far as I know, doesn't have a limit in terms of how much power it can accept. So that should be cool. So these things can all kind of play out together, and that works out pretty nicely. Neat. So that's actually not a terrible layout for these. So you should be getting lots of power now. What's weird to me is that it never actually changes from 512 EU, but you can tell the progress bar way faster, right? Like way faster than it was before, which is good. So can I get more ultimate hybrids? Can I request one more of those? do I have enough iridium for that? Is really, I need 15 more iridium. But other than that, I'm good. So let's put, you know, 16 iron in there. That'll start cooking up iridium. Don't forget, we do have a couple ultimate hybrids that we can drop on here, and these will work just as well at producing power that, as these guys do, right? So the hybrids are cool, right? Now this one here is a 64, right? Generating 64 EU per tick. So really no reason to move that up there. And I don't think we have any other solars kind of laying around or sitting around. But I mean, at this point, that's pretty darn quick. Like, that thing's cruising. 9 million EU doesn't take more than a few minutes at this point. So, well, I don't know how long it takes, but it looks to be about maybe a minute. So maybe in a few minutes here, we'll have the 16 iridium that we need for another ultimate hybrid. And then what I'll do is I'll just keep bumping up our production of power here, because we're going to need basically a lot of iridium in order to make this. So far we've got, what, 2 of these solars, right? 3, no, 2. And we're about to make our 3rd solar, right? So once we have a few more iridium, we can make our 3rd ultimate hybrid, which requires 14 more iridium, and then we'll be good to go. So that'll be 3 out of the 8 that we need. So while that's happening, we're going to basically passively produce a bunch of iron in here into iridium. And the next step, I'm going to take off my spacesuit. Oh, we're not pressurized. I broke something. What did I mess up? I must have messed up something. Back in a minute when I figure out what that is. I think it was down here. So we'll CF spray that stuff up. You can be CF sprayed as well. That's cool. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah, pressurized. Beautiful. Better. All right, cool. So yeah, we'll be back in a minute. I'm going to basically let this run for a few minutes, kick off the next HV solar. And basically what I'll do is every time I kick off an HV solar, I will add it. Yeah, I didn't want those to go there. I wanted you guys to go into here. I'll add it to the array of solar producers and continue to make more and more iridium. But between us working on that, I want to start working on some of the other stuff we're going to need to get this whole thing rolling. So currently, in order to make a creative capacitor bank, we've got 1 of the 9 items we're going to need. I guess making a draconic flux capacitor shouldn't be too bad. Probably. So we should work on that. I could probably get some of these. So let's get some wyverns. I'm going to get this off camera because you guys have seen me make this before. All right, good news. Just finished crafting this guy. So that means we have 3 of the 6 items we need. I would say we're a third of the way there, but the next 6 items are going to be much more difficult to make. One thing I definitely need to get is some solar panel tier 4s. You guys might remember we need a decent amount of mica for that. We're getting low because I haven't really been running my Void resource miner. So I'm thinking we should make, so this was always a tier 1 is what we had. Could I bump that up to maybe tier 3? Would that be the end of the world? I think that's probably doable. So we're probably going to want to get another one of these. And that should get us a tier 1. Cool. Now can I get a tier 2? Doesn't look so bad. We're going to need another tier 1. Hopefully we have enough stuff for it. We totally do. Nice. So we're going to need some more of that environmental tech clear glass. Let's get like 100. Just throwing a number out there. So that's not terrible. We should get there pretty quickly. Ish. Yeah, you have a lot of sand to make. In the meantime, let's go check on, is my hybrid solar panel thingy done yet? Totally is. Ultimate hybrid. Nice. So that's going to go out here to help boost this. I moved 1 solar panel down there, by the way. I needed the extra power boost. Cool. So that should be... You guys are actually probably working on that. Good to go now? Nice. Cool. Okay, so now we need another one of these. I should really, like, get to auto-crafting this stuff, because half of it, you know... It's one of those things that, like, you almost never have to craft, so I feel like setting up auto-craft on it is kind of worthless, but eh. So that's a tier 2. Could I maybe get a tier 3 going? Doesn't look impossible. And if I got a tier 3, that one would be like nice and fast, and then we can focus it to really work towards mica, which the preferred lens is white. So I could totally do that. So let me get a tier 3 off camera real quick. Okay, so that looks pretty cool. So this requires this times 4, and then we have a tier 3. Awesome. So for environmental techs, tier 3 minor, we're totally going to need some structure blocks, tier 3 level. A lot of that's auto-craftable, so that's at least good. So for a tier 3 void resource miner, we need 56 tier 3 structure blocks or above. Structure blocks, tier 3. That's all well within reason. That's not a terrible list of crafting ingredients, to be honest with you. A few things, but shouldn't take too long. 224 vibrant alloys. All right, kick that off. And then to go along with that, void resource miner needs 52 machine base. So machine base, I'm pretty sure I taught you how to make those. Maybe not. Yeah, I didn't because we needed a lot of triple compressed. Crafter. Actually, let's put all the double compressed back in there. And if we have to get around to crafting that stuff again, we shall. But we needed 52, is that right? And hey, where's my battery, by the way? One of them is probably charged and one of them is empty. There's the charged one. I noticed my wand not recharging. 52 it was, right? Yeah, 52 machine base. So we've got 16. So let's get that up to 52. Shouldn't be too hard to get. Nice. And then we'll need 8 modifier cores, 4 laser core, and a white lens. So we should have a white lens in here. Cool. Laser cores. We need a little bit more clear glass. Yeah, so we'll need 4 laser cores and then modifier cores, right? We can decide what we want to do. I'm thinking like most of the modifiers. I've been meaning to do this anyway. So that doesn't look too bad. That needs what? Blocks of aluminum and electrical steel? So aluminum we don't have, but that's okay. So that's, if we need 8, we're going to need about 40 of these. Hope I have enough aluminum. Pretty good. And then steel, we need 32 electrical steel. So I'll come back in a minute when all this auto crafting is complete. Okay, so hopefully I mapped this out correctly. Maybe I didn't. Is it still cooking? Maybe use a little bit more electrical steel than I expected you to. It's still kind of running. Something's running over here still, I think. Oh yeah, a few more pieces of electrical steel are cooking. Cool. So my math wasn't that bad. 7 and 8. Nice. And then our structure blocks should be done as well. Perfect. All right, let's go build this thing. I'm thinking what I'll do is build it in the immersive engineering room because that's where I have the other one. So we could probably just stick this guy somewhere in here that makes sense, right? Now the book tells me the void resource miner is an 11 by 11 by 6. So let me figure out how I want that to look and lay out. All right, cool. We've done something here. Hooray! So hopefully this will get me some mica. So you can see I had to like rearrange my room a lot to deal with the fact that we were gonna have 2 of these guys in here, and they kind of overlap, but that's okay because this one's like 1 level above because it's a tier 3 is 6 tall and tier 4 is 7 tall, so it barely fits, but it'll do. So Draconic, do I have one of these dudes? Content save, that works for me. You're gonna be outputting. Output mode, cool. We're probably gonna want another crate. If we don't have one, a chest will probably do fine. And to be fair, these could totally be you know, these chests. That shouldn't be too much of an ask. But for now, we'll let that be the thing that happens. Cool. Okay. You're what? A wireless energy crystal? So you have more links available to you. So you can probably do that. And that. Cool. Yeah, you can link that many. That's not a problem. Oh, you linked to here, didn't you? Yeah, I just want the lasers. Because coolness. Alright, so that should be good. So you're going to get... Wow, that's a lot of stuff already. Sweet. That also gets us, by the way, like obsidian and endstone. So this thing running is not going to be a bad deal. He'll actually be kind of nice to have laying around. And you're continuing to do your thing. You're full right now. I'll wait for those ender chests to be done. One's done. Nice. So the other one is waiting on clay, which I happen to know is probably stuck on this. So I've been cooking up, as you can see, lots of iridium. Cool. All right, so that's up and running. I just have to seal the floor again. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. And I don't care if some of this stuff falls into the void. Not my concern. That can all go. That we'll also get cobalt and ardite out of this, because remember we need like 4096 manulin, right? So that'll be kind of nice to have. Ender chest is done. All right, this one I definitely want to keep the mica I've gotten thus far. The rest couldn't care less about. And hopefully we don't overload, because we do have a lot of items going into the chest right now. So hopefully we don't overload the input ability, but it should be fine. All right, I'm going to seal the floor, and we will be right back. And we're pressurized. Zoinks. Suit off. Nice. Okay, cool. So with that said, we have good stuff coming in, which is cool. Get my armor back. Get this stuff put away. Cool. All right. So we've got void ore mining for more mica. Among other things, that'll just kind of be like a nice to have, but mica was absolutely necessary for the next stage of what we're working on, which is the solar panel controller tier 4. That's going to be an off-camera craft, but at least we'll have the mica pretty soon to accomplish that goal. The next solar panel tier 4. So basically, wow, miniature sun, refined glowstone. We're going to have a lot of crafting to do, aren't we? How do you make sun crystals? And then I think you have to throw them in the sun. Yeah. Cool. Let's see how our iridium is doing. Oh, you know what else I want to check out? How's my power? We almost have enough. We almost have enough for a double dose run of more HV solars. Not you. Sorry. 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 I'm sorry. There we go. That's better. You know what I'm sorry for. Draconic room, so we should be able to dupe a high voltage, and that'll get us in total 6 more high voltages for the production of even faster iridium, so all kinds of good stuff. So let's check something out here real quick. Sun crystal. I wonder if I can automate this. That would be cool. So let's first teach you how to make sun crystals in this guy. Right? And those are easy to make because it's just, you know, a simple boom, done, right? What if we set it up so that we had an automatic dropper and we had a ranged collector? In kind of an interesting, I don't know where we would put it because it needs to be able to see sunlight, but it really could kind of go anywhere. It could be in the Draconic room for whatever reason. For now, let's just test it out, right? So let's say we wanted to have a ranged dropper here, collector, and we'll do that, right? So if you went to there, right, I have a magnet on me. Derp. Let's remove our magnet for a sec. Right? You go there. Now, are you gonna like work, or do you need to be in the overworld? So there's a particle effect going on, so that's kind of a good sign. Because if I could automate sun crystals, that would be definitely one step towards what I need to do to make this solar panel that we need. I don't know how like solar panels. So some of these aren't too bad, and I think some of these I know how to make already. Some of this isn't terrible at all. Cool. Weather crystal from Ender.io, huh? It's not terrible. Hey, look, that thing looks like kind of good. Sun crystal. Nice. Okay. So if I whitelisted this and said respect metadata, respect NBT, if we made another crystal, another empty sun crystal, like the automation would be drop it in there, right? And then import from here. And what you should wind up with is a picked up sun crystal, right? And we'll get another one, boom, when he's full. Okay, cool. So that's a method for automating that bad boy, which we will probably work on or take care of either next episode or off camera real quick. I just kind of wanted to test that. So we're going to need a tier 6 solar panel, which generates 2048 RF a tick, which is kind of nothing, as we know. So we're going to need some of these. We're going to need some glowstone ingots, glowing glass from extra utilities. Basically, lots of auto crafting. So I'm going to like do that off camera and come back next episode and tell you how we made out. Elite solar panels don't look terrible to make. Empowered, it doesn't look so bad. So some of that I'll do off camera because that's just crafting, and that might not be entertaining to watch. At least like, hey, we just automated sun crystals. That wasn't so bad. Do I have enough stuff to make another quantum solar panel, dude? Ultimate. Boop. Yeah, we totally do. Nice. Iridium. We need 65. Nice. How much iridium do we have? 30 at the moment. So 30 more in addition to the 65 we just used for that. So IC2 room, boom. You're probably crafting up lots of iron, but we're going to pull you out there for a minute. So let's get another couple stacks of iron going. And basically what I'm going to do, well, I'll even just fill this thing up. Why not? Hopefully that'll make 5 stacks of iridium. Nice and quickly, too. Look how fast the Cenarium is made, by the way. Pretty cool. So we're going to come back next episode. I'm going to leave this running. Oh, that's how fast the Cenarium goes, by the way. We were still making iridium when we were looking at that. Yeah, I did add more solar panels out there. You might not be able to tell because it was just basically one more row. But that's cool. So we'll come back next episode. We will work further towards a creative energy source. And I think that will be very cool to do because while we're not... Yeah, we're only at 60 million RF because I ran 2 cycles of HV solars. So while not necessarily hurting for power, we are not easily able to dupe things, and it looks like duping things is the name of the game to get, like, he had that block in mind when he made some of these recipes, because, wow, some of them are expensive. So, for now, Darryl20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode, as always, and we'll come back next time for a little bit more crazy crafting time, because that's the stage that we've reached. We have to create some insane items, so there will be lots of auto crafting going into that. Alright guys, take it easy.